Good morning, children. Welcome back to our Google Classroom. We have learned the topic subject-verb agreement in the previous class. What do you mean by subject-verb agreement? A verb has to agree with the subject in number and person. That means when the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular, and when the subject is plural, the verb also must be plural. Today, we will discuss the topic finite and non-finite verbs. Let me explain this through some examples. She likes apple. Rohan likes apple. They like apple. We like apple. Children, can you identify the verb in these sentences? Yes, very easy. Likes and like. In these sentences, the verb like changes its form according to the number of the subject. That means we use the singular verb likes with the singular subjects she and Rohan, and plural verb like with the plural subjects they and we. So, the verbs likes and like change according to the number of the subject. At the same time, it indicates the tense of the sentence. Which tense it is? It is simple present tense. We use the first form of the verb in the simple present tense. So, it indicates the tense also. Let me share some more examples. She likes apple. She liked apple. They like apple. They liked apple. Here, the verbs likes and liked indicate the tense of the sentence. That is, likes denote the present tense and liked denotes the past tense. At the same time, the verb likes agree with the subject she because it is singular. So, the verb which changes its form according to the number and person and indicates the tense of the sentence are called finite verbs. The verb which changes its form according to the number and person and indicates the tense of the sentence is called finite verb. Finite verbs change their form according to the number and person. That means when the subject is singular, the verb also will be singular, and when the subject is plural, the verb also will be plural. The finite verb also indicates the tense of the sentence, whether it is present tense or past tense. I hope you understood the term finite verbs. Let us learn the topic non-finite verbs. We know that finite verbs change their form according to the number and person, and it indicates the tense of the sentence. Non-finite verbs are just opposite to this. That means non-finite verbs do not change according to the number and person and do not indicate the tense of the sentence. Let me share some examples for this. She is eating apples. She was eating apples. They are eating apples. They were eating apples. In these sentences, we can see one auxiliary verb and one main verb. Which are the auxiliary verbs and main verbs given here? In the first sentence, is the auxiliary verb and eating is the main verb. In the second sentence, was is the auxiliary verb and eating is the main verb. In the third sentence, are is the auxiliary verb and eating is the main verb. In fourth sentence, were is the auxiliary verb and eating is the main verb. Here, the auxiliary verbs is, was, were and are change according to the number and person, and it also indicates the tense of the sentence. At the same time, the main verb eating does not change the form according to the number and person, and it doesn't show the or it doesn't indicate the tense of the sentence. Here, the auxiliary verbs change according to the number and person and show the tense of the sentence. So, such type of verbs which do not change according to the number and person and do not indicate the tense of the sentence are called non-finite verbs. I hope you understood the topic. In these sentences, which are the finite forms? Is, was, are and were are the finite verbs, and eating, the main verb eating, is the non-finite form. Whatever the subject, the main verb eating remains the same. There is no change happening to the verb eating according to the number and person and also the tense. Mostly, the main verbs without auxiliary verb are finite verbs and main verbs with auxiliary verbs are non-finite verbs. For example, she eats apple. Here there is no auxiliary verb. Likes is a finite verb. At the same time, she is eating apple. Here we use the auxiliary verb is with the main verb eating. So, here eating is a non-finite verb and is the finite form. It is the auxiliary verb that changes according to the number and person and also indicates the tense of the sentence. So, what we have learned? We learned that the verb which changes according to the number and person and indicates the tense of the sentence are called finite verbs, and the verb which does not change according to the number and person and does not indicate the tense of the sentence is called non-finite verb. The verbs which are used with the word to are also examples for non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are divided into three: infinitives, gerunds and participles. That we can discuss in the next class. That's all for today. A YouTube URL is attached. Watch the video. The notes of this topic is also attached. Learn it. A test paper is included. Submit your answers as soon as possible. We can meet in the next class. Thank you.